I'm kidding. Let's not put that in there. Start again. It's harder on this side of the camera. I like it less.
My pleasure.
Oh. That's okay.
What is the vision here?
First job.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
You can smile. You can smile.
You can smile. You can just leave it rolling. My first ever job, I was a hostess at a Mexican restaurant.
I was the car-side to-go specialist at Applebee's.
My very first job ever was at Chick-fil-A.
I was a children's soccer ref for the YMCA.
My very first job was babysitting, probably, nannying.
My first ever job was, I was a campus tutor / mentor.
My first ever job was working in a library as a circulation assistant at my college.
Let's do that.
Okay, got it. Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to think.
Like, coming into it, I've always kind of liked working, but I feel like I really just like viewed it as a paycheck and a means to an end. So like I did it just to like pay bills and you know, have a job to get experience for the next thing, or just, you know, have something to do.
Before coming into the class, my perspective on work was largely that it was for pay. And I think a lot of my childhood contributed to that, seeing how my parents worked and what they worked for.
I would say that, like, I didn't think too much about work. I thought, I've always kind of had the perspective that you should have a meaningful job and a job where you should impact other people. But I hadn't really considered the practical application for that.
Yeah, I think work was something that I knew we had to do as people to survive, and that's kind of really what I thought about it.
There was sort of this tinge of an idea of you work because it's like expected, and that it's like a good thing to do, but not so much good because it serves God, but rather good because it helps you carry up and gain power and control, or you gain skills and become more contributing to society.
Before the class, I kind of went in with more of a viewpoint that work was a way to climb the social and like life ladder. Like the better your job, the higher paying it was, the better your life would be.
I definitely didn't think work was 100% necessary if you could afford to not work. So I thought it was, you could just retire at that point.
And even though, like, I knew work was a way to serve God, I didn't really think about all the details of how exactly work can help us bring God's kingdom to wherever we are.
Yeah, I think my perspective on work has changed in a lot of ways that I wouldn't have ever imagined. I think it's cool to see my mindset shift of things that I would, you know, before this class and work, that I would be so frustrated about or really upset about. But seeing like the beauty of God has really just changed the way I think about it, and has allowed me to see the beauty in the frustrating things and also the really great things.
I've been encouraged by the ways that we've learned and talked about how we get to partner with God in our work, and it's not just for a paycheck or because it's not just a necessary evil, but that God has actually created us to do it. I think that really shifted my whole perspective, knowing that it's in our design and that even before the fall, there was work and that God himself worked.
Now, I can say that my view of work is based on giving foretastes of God's kingdom.
I think I'm very much more kingdom focused in my work. I, especially even through this Fellows year as my job as a teacher, just been much more aware of how the work I'm doing can impact other people and how I can bring Jesus into the workplace, even just through like loving kids, loving my coworkers, and just creating a really safe and loving environment for students.
Yeah, I definitely think it helped me to grow. I definitely thought that secular work that wasn't specifically in ministry or specifically in helping others was less than that type of work. And I think that's one of the biggest things I got from the class.
Now I think my perspective isn't just so like looking forward and like using it as something that is going to pay the bills, but it is, my purpose is there to be there right now, and it is good, and my design is to be working. So I just see it as something that is important now, like to like be present where I am and to bring God into that.
Since taking the class, it kind of showed me that that is a form of idolatry in and of itself, like making work your life, making it your end-all be-all for like, making it your end-all be-all for happiness and everything that you do. It's just like what a strong form of idolatry that is, and that's really something that you have to sacrifice to the Lord. And yes, it's really good to want to be successful in what you do, but it shouldn't be the sole purpose of your life. Like, you're also meant to enjoy work and enjoy rest and time with your family. And so I think learning about rest and how important that is in the context of work was really convicting, and is something that has changed a lot since the class.
And even beyond that, to the most mundane tasks of working at a Chick-fil-A and taking the orders out to curbside and then coming right back, that God takes pleasure when we do that diligently and with joy. And I never would have been able to say that before. I would have seen that as a stepping stone to something bigger rather than something which in and of itself is good, that all work that we do for the purpose of helping his kingdom is good, and helping his kingdom includes giving those foretastes by serving others.
Awesome. All right, we got everything. Thanks, Orville. Dude, you killed it.
All right.
And scene.
Scene.
Of everything I'm in. Not me.
Bye-bye. Perfect. Thank you, Claire. All right.